live button yet. Let's start with our breathing. Here's Chester to help us with our breathing. I want you to settle into this moment, to this bit of heart, to this bit of time, to this bit of the unknown, to this bit of calm in the swirl of all the things that always need doing, right? So you ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let out a big loud sigh like that too if you can. It feels so good. It's one of those actor games. We like to do that all the time. Just so you know, LinkedIn was having some trouble with connecting with StreamYard today. I don't think I got my Instagram queued up, and I don't have my TikTok on. So, Veronica says I fixed it. Oh, thanks, V. You're the best. You know what everybody needs? A Veronica. Here's my question, because it's been coming up in a lot of conversations. I think especially now as we move into summer and people are like, oh, I'm going on vacation, or I'm taking a break, or oh, here we are summer and I haven't done all the things that I was going to do back in the spring. And I just want to say, I want you to take a little look at how do you prioritize? And as I mentioned in my email out to y'all, the plural, priorities, didn't even exist until like 1967. I think NASA actually might have come up with it. And there was a kind of a linguistic pushback from the world of people being like, no, it's a singular thing. And it's really awkward to have a singular thing suddenly be like, oh, this most important thing is now most important things. And I think, sort of kicked off a little bit of a trend, phenomena in our culture, in our world of, oh, all the things are important. Everything I'm doing is important. I don't have a number one thing. I've got 5 number one things. Certainly in the world of life coaching, I am not a life coach, but I play one on TV. And that's true. And some of my best friends are life coaches, which is also true. They'll show you that wheel of life thing. How are you doing spiritually, physically, emotionally, professionally, financially, blah, 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 relationships. And you're supposed to sort of grade yourself on each of these departments. And I don't know about you, but it makes me feel tired before I even start. I'm like, oh, yeah, that needs to be worked on. Oh, yeah, that needs help too. Oh, I should really get to that. Oh, yeah, that definitely needs to get done. And all of a sudden you're, completely banana pants. And again, tired before you begin. So what I'm curious about is, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know where to focus? How do you know where to spend your time? How do you know what to do? So I'll put that question to you guys. How do you know what to do? I know a lot of you just prioritize by default. Whatever's in front of you right this second is the thing that needs doing, is the thing that you do. The thing that's most urgent is the thing that you do. When we all know that urgent and important are 2 very different things, right? So share here on the chat if you get a chance, but otherwise even just write down for yourself, like, oh yeah, I know how to prioritize by what? Because it's important to someone else. I know to prioritize something because it has to do with money. I know something is important because I just feel an enormous internal pressure around it. Yep, Veronica is referencing the Eisenhower Matrix, which was made famous by the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a fantastic book. If you have not read this book, put it to the top of your list. Prioritize it, why don't you? But they use the Eisenhower Matrix, which divides things into 4 quadrants: important and urgent, important, not urgent, urgent, not important, not urgent, not important. And what we find is that people over and over again spend time on things that are urgent but not important. Emails are urgent but not important. Meetings are urgent but not important. A lot of paperwork is urgent but not important, right? Then there's the not urgent, not important. That's how well you're doing on Candy Crush. That's checking Facebook. That's zoning out on TikTok. That's rearranging your sock drawer. That's, stuff that really, it's not time dependent and no one cares, right? The third one is urgent and important. And those are the things that absolutely get your attention because they are both immediate and important. There's some immediate things. So that those things tend to fall in the category of crisis, right? If it's important and it's urgent, it's probably a crisis. But here's the trick. If you spend time on the things that are important but not urgent, you will have fewer of the crises. Let me say that again. If you make time to spend on the things that are important but not urgent, you will have less or fewer of the crises, less of the important and urgent, oh shit, I got to go put out this fire right now, right? So what are the things that are important but not urgent? Dealing with health issues. That's important, but not going to the doctor, getting a regular checkup, eating right, going for a walk every day. Those things are important and we acknowledge them as important, but they're not urgent. So we tend to put them off. I'll go to the doctor next month. I'll start working out next month. I was going to have a salad for lunch, but now I think I'm just going to have a grilled cheese. Don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with the grilled cheese. But there is something wrong with making yourself a promise and then breaking it. Right? Writing a book is important, but not urgent. No one's waiting for it. But it's incredibly important. The effect it could have on you, your life, your clients, your people, your business, your world, epic. But not urgent. So nobody makes time for it. So in this world of priority, let's not say priorities, let's say priority. What is one thing that is important, not urgent, that you want to handle today? Maybe it's sending a thank you note to someone, or a condolence note to someone, or any kind of note to someone. That's important, not urgent, but important. Maybe today you want to, clear some clutter from your desk. Again, it's important. You having a clean space in which to work, really ups your productivity, but it's not urgent. You could do it tomorrow or the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the beautiful Allison Lane. Hi, Allison. Allison is my hero. Speaking of thank you notes, part of the reason I thought of it, Allison, is because I have listed on my list of things I want to get done today is sending you a thank you note for Allison emceed my book signing event at Breakwater Books in Guilford on Sunday, and she has been just an unbelievable help this entire book launch. So if you've got a book that you're working on, if you've got a book proposal that you're working on, if you have got a book launch that you're working on, go to Allison Lane Literary, and sign up for whatever she's got, because the woman's a genius. She says, oh my God, I have lots of clutter with so many nail polishes. Right. So, and it's going to be completely subjective, right? To some people, having a lot of nail polishes is not important and not urgent. Like, it's not that big a deal and it doesn't bother them that much. There's no reason to, get into it. My sister keeps saying, like, we should do something about your basement. I'm like, why? There's plenty of space down there. There's plenty of room. There's not critters. Is it a crisis? There's not critters living down there. There's nothing expensive that's getting damaged because it's not being stored properly. It's fine. To her, because she's got a stronger need for order than I do, it feels important and urgent. For me, it feels neither important nor urgent. It's my basement, so I get to decide. So yeah, what is one thing that is important but not urgent that you are going to do today? And go ahead and make a little public commitment with it right now, because we know a little positive peer pressure goes a long way. Leslie says, actually, I'm pretty intrigued by your reorganize the sock drawer. Leslie, you do you, babe. I will say that when I lived in Chicago, I had an entire sock wardrobe, right? I had tennis socks and boot socks and dress socks and warm socks and cashmere socks and woolly socks and cross-country ski socks. And I had all the socks. And then I moved to Southern California and I never put on socks again. And now I've lived in Connecticut for a year and a half and I still haven't put on any socks. So my sock drawer doesn't need any organizing because there's only like 3 pairs of socks in there. All right. So Allison's got a hop, but reach out to her at allison@lanelit.com. If you have any like bookity thoughts, she's your girl. Veronica says, send bunny mail, which is a project that we've been working on inside of the business and mostly for her, but it's her project. I want to finish that today. I'll get the Get It Done Lab sales page done on time because I must, but send bunny mail is never going to get off the ground if I don't do it first. Right. Exactly. Leslie says, one thing about that is the mindless pondering that can take place during sock handling. Absolutely. It's time to ruminate, time to, be with yourself without distraction. I'm a big fan. I was talking about on a podcast the other day. So I've been doing podcast interviews for 15-Minute Method all week. So I've had been talking to 40 million people, which has been great. And one of the things I talk about is, it's summer here in the US and I'm reminded of those long car trips we would take when I was a kid, and we would make a fort in the way back of the Volvo because kids didn't need to be strapped in then because it was the 70s. And so I'd lay in the way back and really just watch the sky go by. I mean, it was the Midwest, right? So there was nothing but blue sky and farmland, cows. And I feel like those long hours of sort of enforced boredom on the trip between Chicago and Door County, Wisconsin, or, wherever it was we were going, was formative. I feel like that was important time. And now that I'm thinking about that, I'm remembering that a lot of what I would do back there by myself, my sister was not involved in this game. I would interview myself for Zoom. You guys remember Zoom? Come on, give it a try, right? It was a PBS show for kids. It was great. And they would have interviews. It was kids interviewing kids. And so I wanted to be on that. Like, Samantha, you've been reading Old Yeller for a while now. How do you feel about it? I like it, Samantha. Thank you for asking. And now here I am getting interviewed. Who says childhood dreams don't come true? Maya says, I heard priorities at first. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, seduce yourself with your priorities. I like it. June says, how to compassionately coordinate my matrix with other people's matrices. Yeah. Well, June, it sounds to me that the phrase or word you might be looking for here is no thank you. Right? I actually have a whole list in Get It Done Method of ways to say no. Let's practice a few of them now. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm sorry I'm not available. I'm afraid that time frame's not going to work for me. That's a little outside of the scope of what I'm up to these days. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm not available for that right now. Please ask me again later. Oh, very good ways to say no. There's also the, oh golly, I'm not sure that I'm really the person to talk to, but Allison Lane would be a great contact. Let me hook you up with her, right? Deepen the bench, hand the people off to somebody else. And there's other ways too. Like there's my friend Sarah, who the first time I heard her say this, I just had to lay down on the floor because I was laughing so hard. Somebody asked her if she did something or other, and she says, "Oh God, no, that sounds horrible." It's like, I love that. God, no, that sounds horrible. On the other hand, I have my friend Carol, who, if you ask her to do something she doesn't want to do, she'll go, "Oh, you're so cute." How's that for a way of saying, "Hey, Carol, did you want to help me, reorganize my sock drawer?" Oh, you're so cute. Very good way to say no. A little passive aggressive, but hey, a little passive aggressiveness never hurt anybody. If you use it sparingly, use it wisely. So yeah, just don't be afraid to tell people I'm not available. It doesn't fit in with my priority right now. Especially when you say my priority is bringing in $10,000 worth of revenue in the next 90 days. By the way, do you guys know that that's what the next Get It Done Lab is about? 90 days to 10K. Bring in the moolah edition. Anybody raising their hand? Anybody feeling like, oh, I think I might have to do that one? You're going to get an email about it soon. We're also going to start having some sort of like little group campfire discussions around finances. That's going to be free, a little just sort of group mastermind thing. Maya says, yes, please. Yeah, so keep an eye out for those things. What else is going on? We've still got the practicum, 15 minutes a day, another fantastic way to lean into your priority. I will tell you, when I was working full-time as an actor, as you might imagine, the things that you can do to promote yourself as an actor, should have done 3 years ago, should have done yesterday, should have done this morning, is endless. It's endless. So my rule for myself was I have to do one thing a day for my acting career. Just one. Sometimes it was more than one, but I had to do one. And sometimes it was really obvious. It's like, oh, I'm going on an audition today. That's my one thing. Oh, I'm dropping a thank you gift off to this casting director. That's my one thing. Oh, I've got class. Oh, I've got a rehearsal, right? These all count as one thing. But sometimes I didn't have those things on my calendar. So what else? I would memorize a new monologue today. I would reach out to a friend to do a little play reading in my living room. I would go on IMDb and make sure that my credits were up to date, because sometimes they weren't. Last time I checked, they were still missing a bunch of them. I don't know. I'll have to look again. Right? So, and that was my deal with myself, which is one thing a day. And the thing I loved about this is that it would let me have a finish line. Because for many of you, certainly for me, when you've got these big creative projects, these personal development projects, there's no limit to what you could be doing every day. So to say, just one thing, 15 minutes. I'm going to join therealsambennett.com/practicum. And I'm going to commit 15 minutes a day to one thing, to touch every day the thing that's most important to me. And here's the part that I can't describe for you really until you experience it for yourself, which is that when you spend 15 minutes a day on something that is important to you, everything else kind of simmers down. You have a lot more clarity. You have more confidence. You have kept your promise to yourself. You are engaged deeply with your own self. I can almost make a parallel. Like, remember the last time you fell in love with somebody? It might be a minute for some of us. But remember how, like, all of a sudden everything else was fine? Like, again, the world is still a shit show, but I don't care. I've got, my wonderful person to go home to. It's a little bit like that. It grows your sense of well-being and your sense of love, and turns down the volume on all that other stuff that doesn't really matter to begin with. When, however, you let loneliness pipe up, the volume on all of that other stuff pipes up, right? When you let yourself get distracted, when you let yourself get depressed, anxious, unwell, all of a sudden it's really hard to sort all those voices. So maybe the solution to finding your priority is finding your love. Maybe the solution to finding your priority is focusing on your love. What is it that you love about you? What is it that you love about your life that you want to bring more of into your life? If you move that thing to the top of the list, do one thing every day, touch it every day, 15 minutes every day, I would almost bet you cash money that the rest of your life will fall into place pretty easily. So that's my invitation to you today, is to focus on your desire, focus on your love, focus on the thing that makes your heart go pitter pat, pitter pat, pitter pat, pitter pat. And I know everything else is important too. I know the checkbook needs to be balanced, the bills need to be paid, the kids need this, the blah, 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 blah. I know. I get it. And your heart matters. And really, at this point, the 15-minute thing is, if you take 15 minutes away from all this other crap that's pulling on your sleeve, is it really going to, it's not going to change that stuff. You've got 15 minutes to play Candy Crush. You got 15 minutes to, dick around with this or that or the other thing. I bet you could take 15 minutes for something you love. And I bet you would see a disproportionate return on that investment. So that's my thought for you today. Please join me here next week. Although I don't know, will we be joining next week? We've got a holiday here in the US on 4th of July. Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm going to do a live next week. I think I might invite you all to go on a picnic with your friends. Jane says, great point. So please, if you're intrigued by this at all, go to therealsambennett.com/practicum. Give yourself a structure. Put it on your calendar every single day, right? Karen says, what if you don't think you feel overly passionate about anything? I'm going to say that you have allowed yourself to turn down the volume on your passion. And I would encourage you to so here's my step-by-step for you, Karen. You ready? Make a list of however many things, 3, 5, 10, 30, things that you think, that could be fun, or that would be interesting, or plus on that. Yeah, sure. Right? Make a list. And then pick one every day and spend 15 minutes on it and see how you feel. If you're digging it, keep going, do it again tomorrow. You don't dig it, skip it, pick another one. Right? Because what I know in my experience of working with people is that the heart and the passion is always there and always strong. There's nobody who doesn't have heart and passion for life. It can, however, get muffled. It can get muffled by depression. It can get muffled by anxiety. It can get muffled by fatigue. It can get muffled by other people's disapproval or the fear of other people's disapproval. It can get muffled by perfectionism of like, well, I can't do that if I'm not going to be the best at it. Right? So this is, like so many things, an opportunity for you to be a great parent to yourself. right? To say, well, honey, let's experiment. Let's play around. Let's see what we can find. I would also guess, and I talk about this in 15-minute method quite a bit, that there is something that you've always been kind of oddly interested in. Like maybe nobody else in your family or friend group is into it, but you're really into it. You read a lot about it. You watch documentaries about it. You want, your friends are like, wait, you're going to drive where to see an exhibition on what? And you're like, oh, I know, I can't wait. Like, that's weird. Whatever that is for you, right? If someone were to wake you up at 3 a.m. and say, hey, we're going to go do this thing, you would be like, yeah, oh, I'm coming. Oh my gosh, where are my shoes? I'm coming. Ooh, I'm tired, right? What is that thing? What is that thing that 9-year-old, in the way back of the Volvo would love to do? Do a little dance? Make a little love? Get down tonight? All of these things are available to you. So yes, Karen's saying perfectionism is a huge barrier. Yes. Good. Laura says, my heart needed this. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Good. Thank you. Very timely and thoughtful. My pleasure. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Good, everybody. Oh, it looks like I missed a chapter. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad I got a bouncer at the door. You guys are great, and your passion matters. And I want you to prioritize that which you desire, right? Here's Chester. Chester's my senior kitty. He wants to say hello. He's pretty cute. So maybe it's 15 minutes communing with your animals, the ones that are chosen you, right? Good. Let's take a breath together, shall we? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you all so much for being here. Check out the practicum, therealsambennett.com/practicum. Hi, John. Great to see you. And I will look forward to talking to you soon. Mwah! Have a great day, everybody. Do what matters to you, okay? Okay.